So Michelle
Indeed.
Obama said she is nervous. She's not just nervous, she is very concerned about 2020. She said she's terrified, actually, of the potential. She said, what's going to happen in the next election? I'm terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways sometimes I think people take for granted. She said, the fact that people think that government, does it really even do anything? And I'm like, oh my God, does government do everything for us? And and we cannot take this democracy for granted. She said, I worry sometimes that we do. Those are the things that keep me up.
No, I
Thoughts and
completely agree
prayers.
with her. Yeah, I completely agree with her. I think we are. I don't. We've always had a two steps forward, one and a half steps back kind of thing in this country. And I remember I wrote something on my website a long time ago when Obama won the presidency and then got destroyed in the midterms, like historically destroyed, not just like there's always that backlash, whoever wins, but it was like a 60 something vote swing in the House or something like that. And it reminded me, you look at history in this country and it's, Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow. It's almost two steps forward, three steps back in some respects. It's Lyndon Johnson, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, 40 years of sort of right wing states' rights, voting limitation, like all these, this campaign, this generational campaign to pull all that back. Nixon was the immediate beneficiary of that. The South, as I learned in a book in Caste that I recently read, I didn't realize it was this stark. The white vote has never gone to a Democrat in the presidential election since 1964. That was the last time the Democrats won the white. Even Jimmy Carter, 48%. Bill Clinton, two Southern guys, 43%. Obama, the craziest thing was 2008, he won 43%, 39% in 2012. And that's one of those things where you go, we all probably in our own bubbles, we're like, hey, even though it may be ephemeral, we're in this like new, like the vibe of 2008 was like, wow, more people than ever are on this campaign. And it was still not a majority, not even close. And he lost 4 of that percent the next time he ran. But the difference to me in this is that this has been such a short amount of time. Joe Biden isn't the radical, oh my goodness, we've shocked the world candidate. I think he's been very good. I know that may be controversial to some people, but if an elderly, moderate white man doing some policies to help more people is now the standard for the country's gone crazy and super radical left, we are hopeless because unlike Jim Crow, Richard Nixon, et cetera, Trump would be the first time we're deciding to literally go backwards. Like we're not just saying we're going Republican. We're like, no, 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 no. We're actually going, we want the specific problem. We want as a country the exact thing we were trying to overcome. That would have been like, George Wallace winning in 1968. It would be, it's insane and it's scary because I think relative to our time, it is unprecedented. We've gone backwards as a country. We've made steps forward, then gone back. It's a constant dance of progress, regress, progress, regress. But Trump, going back to Trump as president would be such an relatively unprecedented step. It would be like going back, I'm not equating the two, but just for historical context, like if they brought back slavery in 1890, like to make it so stark, it's like, wait, we didn't get past that existential threat to our nation. We're going back to that, going back to Trump after he literally tried to take the election back after the American people kicked him out. And us sitting here 4 years later going, yeah, I'm willing to give him another try is scary because I don't know what's on the other side of that. Like we can offer conjecture and it's not good, but what does that say about our country if we go, yeah, we decided to give the guy another chance after he proved himself more unworthy than any American president in history by a long shot, including Nixon, that's what's scary about it is we know it's bad and yet we don't know how bad because it says something about us as a country. And people always bring up, hey, it's the Electoral College. It's the system we've always had. So I speak of America because, yes, he may only need 45% of the voters to win. That's still 45%. That's almost 1 out of 2 are
Right.
going, yes, not only do I like Trump, I like the fact that, like, I'm willing to look past or embrace his wannabe dictatorship. And I said this, and people misinterpreted it, as people always do, but I said America for a lot of people is like if I said I'm a Boston Celtics fan, but I only liked it when Larry Bird was playing. I don't like Bill Russell. I don't like Jason Tatum. I didn't like Reggie Lewis. I don't like Dennis Johnson. I don't like Casey Jones, but I really like Larry Bird. I will die for the Boston Celtics as long as my vision of the Celtics is Larry Bird. But just like America, America is an idea. It is a framework. It is not supposed to be who that is. Barack Obama is the ultimate American as far as I'm concerned. He's brilliant. He's self-made. He's half immigrant. He's half black. He's half white. He is, if he were a Republican, he would have knocked Reagan off the pedestal and Lincoln off the pedestal, because they would have said, this is a self-made embodiment of all the principles, ideals, and dreams we hold to be American. But because he's black and he has a funny name to a lot of people, a foreign name, he didn't represent any of those things to people. And that's the Larry Bird versus Bill Russell or Jason Tatum. It's
But
you
to
like
your point,
the jersey when it looks like you, but you don't like the jersey. So you don't like America. You like America that looks like you. That's not America. That's a racist vision of America. That's a self-centered, race-based love of America. That's not America. So,
and to your point, Larry Bird was on a team that needed Robert Parrish, that needed Dennis Johnson, that needed Danny Ainge's biting ass, that needed KC as a coach. You don't become great Larry Bird because it's a team sport, and America's a team sport.
Sure.
We need everybody to come whole and recognizing the contributions of everybody else to be this great nation, to be e pluribus unum, to make the Constitution true. We need everybody to participate. But to your point, I don't see that happening. Can we end, because we played 5 minutes of Trump? Can we get Biden, Smith? Do we have time for Biden's speech? I think we do. A little bit, just a little bit. Come on, let's play clip 25. That's how many clips we have.
3 years ago tomorrow, we saw with our own eyes the violent mob storm the United States Capitol. It was almost in disbelief as you first turned on the television. For the first time in our history, insurrectionists had come to stop the peaceful transfer of power in America. First time. Smashing windows, shattering doors, attacking the police. Outside, gallows were erected as the MAGA crowd chanted, "Hang Mike Pence." Inside, they hunted for Speaker Pelosi. The House was chanting as they marched through and smashed windows, "Where's Nancy?" Over 140 police officers were injured. Jill and I attended the funeral of police officers who died as a result of the events of that day. Because of Donald Trump's lies, they died because these lies brought a mob to Washington. He promised it would be wild, and it was. He told the crowd to fight like hell, and all hell was unleashed. He promised he would right them. Everything they did, he would be side by side with them. Then, as usual, he left the dirty work to others. He retreated to the White House. As America was attacked from within, Donald Trump watched on TV in a private small dining room off the Oval Office. The entire nation watched in horror. The whole world watched in disbelief. And Trump did nothing. Members of his staff, members of his family, Republican leaders who were under attack at that very moment pled with him. Act. Call off the mob. Imagine had he gone out and said, stop. And still, Trump did nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna have a reckoning. I'm not optimistic, JL. I feel like a lot of people are gonna sit home. Maybe they're not gonna vote for Trump, but I think they're gonna sit home, and that is uh really basically handing it over. I've been saying I don't think Trump's gonna be on the table, but his ideology is that Project 2025 is a real thing. And they mean to make that happen. And if you haven't gone to the Heritage Foundation and read through it, understand that this is a 20, 30, 40, maybe it's a 200, maybe it's a 100-year plan. Maybe they have been planning this all along. This is our time to hold the door, stand in the way, stand in the gap, but more importantly, become the adults that we are, become the stewards of this democracy, become the stewards of the future. Our children demand that, and they should have us not bickering, but working for a better union. So that's how I feel about it. JL, Cauvin, last words. We got less than a minute. Say whatever you need to say.
I agree with you. I think you have to realize whether or not you think a candidate is perfect or not. It's the same comparison I made with Hillary and Trump. I'll make it again with Biden and Trump, even though I don't feel this way about Biden. I'm a supporter, not just a sort of hold my nose voter. But imagine you're hiring somebody to run your store, and one person has a pretty good record, but is not perfect, not your ideal candidate. And the other person has multiple convictions for arson of stores. Who are you going to put in charge of your store? It's that simple. Like you either, if you don't vote for one, the store will burn.
Can't turn my back on that. Gotta make moves, gotta act on that. You're the one I want and I stand on that.